I walked away with the notion that it's now or never. I have to I have to change how I operate in order to succeed. Because now I've seen success.
Mm-hmm.
They sold at like at least 80% of the people that they had in front of them. I mean, they were pulling people over to the table.
Mm-hmm.
They were getting people to actually pay attention to us, and like every single move that they made, it was just like every single thing that they said, every single move that they made, they it was with a purpose, and it was aligned with the mission statement of their brand, and they sold every single person with the exception of like maybe 2 out of 10 did not.
What are you doing today that makes you better than the person you were yesterday? That is part of the Ascension brand. That is the motto, the heart of what we stand for. When I pass away, I want people to know. I want people to remember me. Not for the time that I've spent on this planet, but for the things that I have done to contribute to society. My mama raised a loser, but I broke the chains. I wasn't made to be a player. I was made to build the game. I skipped breaks. You were calling me.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Dirty Trunk Podcast, where the elephant is always welcome. It is me, your boy Marcus Morton. Always here with me is the Aaron Mack. We're back here for another one, so let's go.
Here for another one, 4:34 a.m. Just to make it clear, ladies and gentlemen, we do this podcast for you and nobody else. So if you're listening to
Yes.
this, kick back, whatever you're doing, whether you're driving to work, whether you're making dinner for your family, you just got off of work, whatever you're doing, make sure that you do not take this as entertainment and enjoy the ride. That's all I'm gonna say about that one. What's up, Mark? How you doing, man?
Pretty good, man. Can't complain. Yeah, just can't complain. It's a lot of mosquito. Uh, yeah. What
A
about
lot
you,
of
man?
mosquitoes.
Not a lot of mosquitoes, but it's one flying in here. So if you see me
Oh,
slap myself, just keep it rolling.
well, well, I still got the drain fly issue, so there's that. It got worse, but it's all good. Good thing they not um
Invasive.
they're not invasive on purpose.
So,
Just go put it like that. They're pretty stupid creatures, but I hate to talk like that, but they are. However, man, I'm a little winded right now, man, because we Alyssa and I we got this show right that
okay.
we started watching. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but this has absolutely nothing to do with nothing. But Alyssa and I stumbled across this show called The Ranch. It's on
That sounds.
Netflix, one of Ashton Kutcher shows.
Okay.
He got a whole bunch of folks from that '70s show,
Mm.
and kind of like they continue in the old thing, like they just wanted to do one last project together,
Mm.
which is irrelevant because now they got that '90s show about to come out with all of them gonna be in it anyway.
Yeah, I did
Um,
see that. I didn't know if that was legit or not.
yeah, that's it's real, it's
Okay.
real. But yeah, man, we hit a spot last night, man, and you know how you just get so entangled in a show,
Mm.
and
You can't stop
they
watching it.
hit you with the cliffhangers, and you just
Mm.
like, yo, I just gotta watch one more episode. Bruh, I felt I got beat last night, man. We ended up staying up till like 11:30, man, trying to see uh um a cliffhanger that never got off the cliff.
Come on.
No, bruh, we still ain't finished. So I was like, yo, we like 11 o'clock. I was like, yo, one more episode. 11:30 came. I was like, fuck. We can't do another one. I gotta get up in the morning, man. I can't do this. Gotta work in the morning, man. Come on.
Thanks.
So yeah, we got beat out, man. but
Yeah,
it's all good.
it happens. It happens. I believe like the directors, they know exactly what they're doing. It's like
Hell yeah.
they'll get you to a point that's like so crazy. You're just like, all right, what's gonna happen next? And then they hit you with like a bunch of backstories and flashbacks and like
Right.
uh some random character. You get their whole life story or something, why they this way, why they did what they did, and all this other stuff. And you're like, I don't care about that. They just shot a person. Like, is the person alive? Are they dead? What is happening?
I'm saying. But yeah. Um, in other news, man. Um, so last weekend,
Mm-hmm.
Alyssa and I were at the Tidewater Comic Con in Virginia Beach.
Right.
Now, uh, we've done cons before, right?
Mm.
We've been to a few of them. Had one just before we went to Mexico.
Right.
Had one in Glen Island, RavenCon, and you know, it ain't our first rodeo is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
So we get there, right? We had all our stuff, had everything set up, had the tables ready, and at this point, it's like 5 minutes before they open the doors. Um, like I said, we picture perfect at this point. Like to the
Mm-hmm.
point we took a picture. Like we thought we were about to, we thought we were about to roll in it.
Mm-hmm.
Met our neighbors and everything, talking to everybody, chopping it up, and like at some point, if somebody coming to buy something from you at a convention, you gonna need to accept payment.
Right.
So we had our cash box with us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I pulled the cash box out the bag, and I realized my right 5 minutes before we got to go into this joint that the cash box is locked, and I ain't got no key to that joint, and we all the way in Virginia Beach, bruh.
Come
We
on.
all the way in your beach, bruh. So so all right, man. Um, I sat there for a second, and I, Alyssa, she panicked about stuff. So I tried to keep that one in, and I
Mm-hmm.
tried not to tell her. I was like, yeah. So I'm just like staring at the board. Like I got the joint, and it's like sitting on the table, and I'm just
Mm-hmm.
like staring at it. And I'm just like, oh. And she like, what's wrong? And I ain't say nothing. I just looking at it. I'm like, oh, because I was like, yo, this is a tricky situation. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
140 some miles away from the house.
Mm-hmm.
Can't possibly go back and get the key. By the time I go back and get the key and come back, like half of the day be gone. So I'm like, all right, money in there, square in there.
Oh.
What am I gonna do? So finally, because I couldn't come up with a solution, I ended up telling Alyssa that what was going on,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like freaking out. She's like, "Should I go back home? I want to go back home." I'm like, "No, you're not.
No, you're
Stop.
not.
This is why I didn't tell you in the first place."
Mm-hmm.
So I see the people next to us. They had a the same kind of lockbox, and I'm like, "Yo, they carbon copy keys for these joints sometimes, right?" And I was like, "Yo, what if their key worked?" And she was like, "I'll go ask them." And she went to ask for the key, and they gave it to us. They were like, "Sure, yeah, we have to get that open,
Mm-hmm.
they Caucasian folks. Yeah, we have to get that open. They ask no question. They ask, "Is it actually yours?" And it like, can I see some ID or something? None.
Right.
They just straight gave us the key, put that joint in, mark, perfect fit,
Oh.
no turn, no turn.
Ah.
So, so I put that joint in my bag. I was like, you know
Mm-hmm.
what? I got it. I think I got another key in the car. That's all I said. Think I got another key in the car. Walked out to the car, and I'm standing out in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was about to post it on Instagram, and I took a picture of it, like a kind of like a story. I was gonna ask if anybody knew how to open them joints, bro. Tell me why, like I ain't get like I didn't do it,
Mm-hmm.
but then I was like I ain't find no key in the car, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have to cut my losses. So I'm like sitting out there at my car,
Mm-hmm.
like looking around at the lockbox, like people walking past me, giving me the stink eye and stuff, and I was just like looking at them like, how you doing? Good morning. And then I'm in my trunk. Just imagine this, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see a dude dressed in all black in
Ooh.
the middle of the day, standing at a trunk, standing at the trunk of a car, trying to pry open
Oh no.
a Century lockbox
Mm-hmm.
with two Allen keys in the back of his truck. So that's how my Saturday went.
Don't look good. Don't look good.
That's how my Saturday went, man.
Mm. 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 I don't
But
need
yeah,
just.
we ended up getting it
Oh.
over.
Oh. Yeah. Did you have to break it?
Oh yeah, I fucked it up.
Oh man.
I fucked it up.
Well, I mean, there's many ways to skin a cat. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Yeah, they came back in the ladies and the people next to me. It was like,
Mm.
"Oh, you found the second key?" I was like, "Yeah, something like that." Alyssa was like, "Where was it?" I was like, "Fifth Ward." She was like, "What?" It was in Fifth Ward, and she didn't get what I was saying at first. I'm like,
Mm.
I broke into that thing.
Lord. Well. Anyway, rough start. It happens. Sometimes you have a rough start. But how was the finish? How was the day throughout after that happened?
um, we ended up we ended up having one of the most successful events this time around
Mm-hmm.
that we had since GalaxyCon Raleigh last year.
Okay. Okay.
Which I'm gonna tell you exactly why on this podcast. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
listening to this, I want you guys to pay attention because I got something that I need to get off of my chest.
All right. All right. And before we start, or before we go into that, uh, that just goes to show like persistence pays off. Like y'all could have cut y'all losses, y'all could have went back home
Yeah.
to get the key, and that could have had a different outcome. Um,
Hmm.
Similar to uh a previous episode that we talked about, a con that you guys had went to, and one of the neighbors, was kind of not so cheerful. They didn't have that, you know, oh, I'm here. I might have had a rough start, but
Yeah.
our finish is gonna be immaculate, Uh and their whole vibe throughout the entire process, just because that one bad morning was just crappy.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show that, like, persistence and keeping a positive attitude about, even a mess up like that, it pays off.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
so we can
But
go.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if you was transitioning over like that. But it's kind of hard to tell over so. Um. But yeah, man. Uh. I want to I want to talk about the 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 environment that you keep yourself in on this episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to go into a little bit about, and I wish we had a smoother transition, but I promise you I don't. Not today. Usually we're able to segue that thing right in, but this is a bit abrupt. Jokes over. Like
Mm-hmm.
story time over. Jokes over. It's time to get into it, right? So recently we talked about keeping your circle tight and being around people who are going to keep you on your P's and Q's.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I noticed as of late that Alyssa and I haven't been having the type of success that we've been wanting to have at some of these conventions, right? I listen. I realized recently that Alyssa and I haven't been having the type of success that we desired from having through these conventions.
Mm-hmm.
And we recently talked about on the podcast keeping your circle tight, and being around those people, those individuals who are going to stretch you and keep you grounded, right? So, what I noticed was that, all right, so something happened to me, and it put me into a situation where if I didn't grow,
Mm-hmm.
then the only person that I could blame was me. So here's what happened. I said I did RavenCon right before we went to Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to Mexico and seeing those folks outside that airport, and it changed me.
Right.
Like, this changed me. And something that I used to hear from people was like, and you know, you get to people or listening to folks, and it's almost like everybody around you, the only time they have a good story to tell is when it as it pertains to something that happened way back in the past, right? But you get around certain people, Mark, and they got funny stories to tell you for days.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it'd be like some stuff that just happened like last week. It'd be some stuff that happened today. And I'm like, yo, I'm thinking about it. And I'm just like, yo, the only people who got stories to tell about life in general, life itself, is successful people. And unsuccessful people, the only time they got a story to tell is at a point where they actually lived. But now that they ain't living no more, they ain't got no stories to tell, and now they keep lingering on to the stories that they used to that they had going on back in the day. Or like as it pertains to people that we come across on a daily basis,
Mm-hmm.
when they talking about stuff, it's some old stuff that ain't even relevant now. But if you ever been around a group of individuals who are who are doing things and going places, they could tell you a funny story about some stuff that just happened last week at a convention, and how they almost got arrested trying to break into their own cash box. But you know, not the case. So I was around. I went to RavenCon, right,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like listening to these dudes who I was sharing the table with. 'Cause I got invited to RavenCon and was sharing the table with another author or a few other authors, J.C. Kong, um, Christopher Russell, and ooh man, Thomas Webb. And as we were sitting there sharing this table, bruh, and these dudes, they were like, we haven't been doing this long. Like they've been linking up and doing conventions like for not even a whole year right now. And I was just listening to their pitch. And like when they go into their pitch, I was like, yo, what the fuck? Like it was like a whole TV show over there, bruh.
Come on.
And I was like, yo, that's sick. And then not only were like it was like always John would go or JC would go
Mm-hmm.
and he would say his pitch, get people all interested. Then Chris would go and he'll get his pitch, and JC would be um like giving him feedback on the pitch in the middle of the pitch, just like kind of like a heckle kind of thing, but pushing the story forward, like asking questions about it, like uh evil sorcerer tries to wake up some demon to use it again in the war. It's like, how did
Mm-hmm.
that go? It's like horrible as you would think. And like, yo, they were going back and forth with
Mm-hmm.
each other, and I'm like listening to this thing, like, yo, what the fuck? They giving energy with it. They going deep into it. Like, yo, he told a whole He told the whole joint about one book,
Mm-hmm.
70,000 words, and like you would have thought he was talking about a whole universe. And I'm like, yo, that's deep, bro. Like they got this thing to a science.
Mm-hmm.
And here I was thinking that I was like, I had it. I was like, yo, I've sold out books with my pitch right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I got this in the bag, right? And then I come sit up there next to them dudes, bruh, and they put me to shame, Mark.
Come on.
They put me to shame. And I'm just like, damn, I don't have it like that. But here's what I noticed. And here's why, and I want to talk about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's why you should always keep people around you that are pulling you out of that comfort zone. This is exactly why. Because, Mark, as I was listening to these dudes, right, I walked away with something. I walked away with the notion that it's now or never. I have to change how I operate in order to succeed. Because now I've seen success.
Mm-hmm.
They sold at like at least 80% of the people that they had in front of them. I mean, they were pulling people over to the table.
Mm-hmm.
They were getting people to actually pay attention to us, and like every single move that they made, it was just like every single thing that they said, every single move that they made, they it was with a purpose, and it was aligned with the mission statement of their brand, and they sold every single person with the exception of like maybe 2 out of 10 didn't buy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then they can't. Then like, man, I can't even say that because one of the people that walked away, he ended up coming back and was like, "Yo, I really like that pitch. I want to buy." Like, every single person was intrigued. Every single
Mm-hmm.
person where was indulged in their universe just off of their banter alone. And I was like, "Yo, that's crazy. I can't believe that these dudes are really that skilled at making the pitch. Just the pitch. Like, yo, you ain't even said nothing about the story or like the background of it, but you just pitching one single book. And these dudes got plenty books. And they only pitching one. And I'm like, yo, Mac, you gotta do that. You ain't got no choice but to do that. So Alyssa and I have been on a loser streak pretty much with the last few conventions that we've done. Like, we just been coming up upside down. And I'm just like, yo, what is the problem? What is the problem? Like, everybody, like, there's been people who saying the book is fire, the book is amazing. Book one is about fire. So there have been people saying that I just had somebody at Tidewater told me that on the second day that they were coming back through. They was like, I'm starting to read your book. I've got up to chapter 5 already. I love it so far. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. I hope you enjoy the rest of it. Keep the series in mind. But like, there's been people who told me that, and like, so the proof of concept is there, and just we'll try to wrap it up. But the proof of concept is there, and like, I know people are reading it. I know people enjoy it. It's a damn good idea. We didn't sit here talking about the Eighth Universe on these meetings for hours on end for nothing. Like, it's the idea is there.
Mm-hmm.
We sold it before when we had one book. We sold out 50 books like in a 4-day weekend. We know it works. So what happened? Because I won't sell it nothing. Like, we didn't make $60 in Baltimore Comic Con. And I was trying to figure out what the problem was, Mark. I was like, yo, what's going on, man? And then I sat next to them dudes, man, at RavenCon, bro, and I was like, yo, Mac, it ain't no universal problem, bro. It's a you problem.
Hmm.
You the one that ain't selling these books, bro. It ain't got nothing to do with the people that you sit next to. It ain't got nothing to do with the people that walk by the table. It ain't got nothing to do with none of that, bro. The problem is that you were hungry and you did what you were supposed to do,
Mm-hmm.
When you went to GalaxyCon, Raleigh last year, you sold out of them books, man, and you had the right attitude, you had the right skill set, but at some point you let some ignorance get into your head. You let some BS penetrate your soul, and for whatever reason, you stopped doing everything that you were supposed to do because you started doing the things that you thought that you were supposed to do, and that's why you stopped selling. So when I sat next to them dudes, bro, and like I said, there's why you have to be around the right people. When I sat next to them dudes, Mark, I was like, yo, I understand now.
Mm.
I understand now. When I went back, when I left that day, and because we had to leave that convention early, RavenCon early, because we had the flight the next morning to go to Mexico. And I left that day before I even saw those people outside the airport. Mark, I was already on it. When I saw those people, bro, I was like, yeah, I got it now, bro. So tell me, like this happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got to Tidewater Comic Con, and we ended up having the most successful convention that we have ever made, hands down. Over GalaxyCon last year, we made 50% more than what we when we made at GalaxyCon, and we sold less.
Come on.
Yeah,
All right. So, what was it that you were missing? What was it that was? What was that thing that boosted the sales, or that thing that you figured out that you needed?
right. It was a matter of it was a skill set thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at some point, like you should start like when things start going wrong, you start over analyzing the things that go wrong. So it's like you just kind of like back off of the things that you were doing already because you think that, or somebody told you that you're not supposed to, or somebody say that you're not supposed to do a certain thing, or somebody tell you that, oh, I'm successful and I don't do that, or whatever the case is. You might have somebody who just said like, how can I explain it? Um,
Um.
like I
Uh.
just had. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's kind of similar to a couple of videos I was watching about streaming. So you have these two streaming services, I guess. Say you have OBS and Streamlabs. They
Yeah.
both do the same thing. One does a little bit more. One makes your job a whole lot easier, but one is kind of the same, but you have to put in the work. You have to uh basically set up everything yourself. One, it's already set up. It has templates. It has stuff you can drag and drop and all this other stuff. But this one over here that you drag and drop is real easy. People say, "Oh, he uses that. That's real simple. That's easy." Uh, so he's just an average streamer. He's not a hardcore streamer because he didn't take about 3 hours to set up a stream and get all the overlays correct and defined. He just spent 10 minutes setting up a stream over here.
Got it. So yeah, like the person who was using one joint where it took 10 minutes, he started listening to people who take 3 hours to set up their joint and then start trying to do what they do and then end up falling off of his success.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah, that's exactly what happened, Mark. I had some bad situations and some people told me some stuff, and I ended up listening to those people instead of doing what I was already doing and doing what made me successful.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, I let it throw me off my game, man. And I just stopped doing the things that made me successful. Like I just thought, like literally, like I didn't do the things that made me successful. Like I started getting in my head about the spread of the Aether universe,
Mm-hmm.
because like my goal isn't to make sales, but when your goal ain't to make sales, when you go to these conventions, it's hard to not it's hard to not focus on that because that's what you're there for. You only there to make sales. It's not like I'm there to like it's not like I'm there to build a following. Because you can't necessarily build a following when you just a table that stands out in a group of tables.
Why
If that
not
make
though?
any, huh?
I said, why not though?
It's a byproduct of what you're doing, but it's not a direct. It's not a direct thing.
Okay.
Like
All right.
it's not like I can just like build a fan base based off of the people that I meet at a convention because
All right.
one, they're not there to see me. Two, they got thousands of other tables that they can go to, and three, they might buy the book and mess around and just leave the book on the bookshelf and not even read it for a whole 4 or 5 months. And before,
Mhm.
like, they might mess around and look at the book and be like, "Dang, I don't even think I really want this." Like, I, after you buy it, I'm shit. Like being real, like there's been books that I bought, like even on this bookshelf behind me, there's been books
Mhm.
that I bought that I have absolutely no plan on reading. Like I'm just being real. Like it happens. So you can't. I know that you can't build a fan base just off of of being at conventions. It
That's
might
true.
happen eventually. It could happen. Hell, somebody might be holding on to one of those books and they might see something online about the Aether Universe and something that's going on, and it might trigger them to pick it up. And obviously that's what we hope for, but
Facts.
at some point I noticed those things, I understood those things, and I let it get in my head, and I
Mhm.
stopped doing the things that made me successful at work or while I was at these conventions because I'm not driven to make sales. I'm driven to start a fan base.
Okay. Um, and what would you say? Uh, what would you call that? Would you call that, you getting big headed, you getting you smelling yourself, or what would you call that? What would you
I
label
wouldn't call
that?
it neither one of those things. I mean, I guess if it was the other way around, if I
Mm,
like went in and expected to make a whole bunch of sales every single time,
mm,
and it would be different. But like I was even doubting the fact of going to these conventions was even
necessary.
profitable, bruh.
Mm,
Cause I'm like, yo, excuse me. I'm like, we we most of the time take time off of work to
mm,
come to these joints. So if we don't make any money at the convention, then we don't make any money for the business.
okay.
But if we make money for the business, then it don't really matter anyway because it don't really amount to anything. So like if I sell a book at a convention, it ain't like the Aether Universe is automatically going to start picking up steam
Mm,
and move anywhere. It's not going to get us any faster to building this brand the way we need to get it to get it to be a household name. It's not like Marvel was out here occupying conventions and selling comic books. You know what I mean? Like it's not
mm,
like that's not how Stan Lee got Marvel off the ground. So I like at some point I was just kind of like using that as an excuse to go a little less put a little less effort into to being at the conventions, and I just kind of subconsciously just let it let it fade out.
mm. So, all right, was that something that happened, like right away, or like it took some time to happen?
For marketing brain, it kind of happened instantly.
Happen instantly. All right,
Yeah, cause
so
go ahead.
it was kind of like a little small wave of doubt almost, right?
Nah,
No, wasn't doubt.
nah, it wasn't doubt. It was a matter of me trying to meet. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I didn't see it as doubt
Mm,
because I still feel the same way. But I just know that if I'm gonna be at the conventions, then I might as well put my all into it.
right.
I might as well go for the sale. But my problem was that I know that it's going to take more
Mm,
to get to where I want to go because though everybody who's at the convention, their goal is to make money, mine's is to make an impact. So when you walk past my table and I sell you something that you may or may not want, and I don't have time to figure out if it's what you want or not. The only thing I have time to do is give you my pitch. So when it comes to that, versus finding someone who's actually going to embrace the characters of the Aether universe,
Mm-hmm.
embrace the universe in general, embrace the things that we have to that we have to offer in the future. Like, in order to find that, I just didn't know if that was the thing that we were going to accomplish by going to these conventions, if that makes sense. My goal wasn't to make money. My goal was to make an impact.
Okay. Hmm. All right. All right. So basically the kind of sum up everything and to kind of make it clear. So you were going to the conventions and you were, starting to lose that spark that you had at the beginning, basically, right?
No,
No,
no, I didn't lose. All right,
it was fading.
it the shift.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, my
Cause you.
thoughts about it
Mm-hmm.
just changed. Like it literally changed. But my we didn't come here to talk about my disdain for being at conventions. Like that's not what we're here to talk about. But um, to answer your question,
Mm-hmm.
it was almost like if I had to answer it,
Mm-hmm.
the the yeah, you could say that the spark did fade because the motivation changed.
Right, and then when you met the guys from RavenCon, you saw something, or you realized that this is the missing piece, or this is the shift that I needed. So you started going that route, and
Yeah,
now things are better.
hell yeah,
Boom. So just like the topic you mentioned, about surrounding yourself with people that are, smarter than you, better than you, that's gonna uplift you or give you what I like to call the best friend slap, right? So me and my friends had this thing in high school called the best friend slap. So when one of us is like down ourselves, or like just like uh getting off track, basically, uh I had like rings on at the time, so mine's always started with, you said what? You did what now? You believe you're starting to doubt yourself? I start slowly taking off my rings, putting them in my pocket. I'm like, you know what's coming, right? Get yourself together. We don't believe that over here. We successful people over here. So just having those type of people around you is key for success. Uh, you know.
if that ain't the name of of this podcast, I'm quitting the podcast. The best friend slap.
uh Sometimes you just need that. You need a wake up call, because
Right,
we all go through life. We get complacent. We do the same thing over and over again repeatedly, because that's business, that's entrepreneurship.
right,
That it
right.
To be an entrepreneur, you have to embody the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome.
Yeah,
uh in order to get where you're going in life, you're gonna have to, go through that, like dive straight into that. Uh, since we don't have complete control over people, you have the power of persuasion over people.
right.
Uh, it's in the air. You might put something out there. Uh, One person might see it as, garbage. They pick it up. They might put it back down. Somebody might buy it.
Right.
Uh, Somebody might buy it, love it, tell their friends. Somebody might buy it just to buy it and put it on the shelf. I mean, it's still a sale, but it's like it's there. It
It's still a seed song.
Right.
So I do understand that. So I ain't out here talking about I ain't about to go to any more conventions and not make any more sales. In fact, in fact being around those guys made me
Mm,
understand that, like watching them, it
mm-hmm.
made me understand that I need to do more to push this brand forward.
Okay.
So we got some things coming in the pipeline
All
that
right.
I'm excited for, and I'm looking forward to getting back to these cons and pushing the message of the brand a little bit more, a little bit harder. So and look, for real, what am I trying to tell you? Like that, like this realization wouldn't have never happened if I was just in my own on my own planet.
There we go. Yes.
If I was just on my own planet, I would have never realized that. I would have thought I was sweet all the way up until the very end. Like I would have just been like, yo, I got the juice. I'm perfect. Ain't nothing wrong with me. Like everything wrong with y'all. Like like for real. Like I would have thought that everything was at fault of somebody. I would have thought that oh, it was the table. It was the crowd. It was my neighbors. My neighbors were pushing everybody away though. When I was that one time, that dude, he did scare away a few of my people. Like that did happen. But I would have put all these factors into other things and never took an internal look. If I'd never been beside those dudes and watched them do their thing the way that they did, I would have never thought to change my pitch up the way that I did. Now, when someone is when I give someone the rundown of my series, now it goes a little bit deeper. But it goes deeper not because I got more books now, but it goes deeper because I'm putting more of my soul into what I'm saying. Because I noticed that when I was next to those guys, they were saying they weren't saying a lot. They didn't have more going on than I did. Their universe wasn't as strong as ours. Like they didn't have it the way that we have it in the Aether universe. They don't have it like that. But they have more books. And when they spoke about it, they spoke about it with diction, and they spoke about it with conviction. They were convinced that theirs was the best brand, and it was expressed through their dialect. And I wouldn't have never seen it if I was never around those individuals. So why am I saying that? Because somebody listening to this right now is like, oh, that person over there, they competition, I don't want to be around them. Like real talk, I don't want to be around that person. You looking at somebody in your own industry and you afraid to reach out to somebody that's in the industry that you said you want to be in, you not looking at nothing that they doing. Because that's competition. You avoided you avoided all social media. You ain't went to talk to them. You ain't said nothing. Like you you just like, all right, I don't want nothing to do with that. I got it over here. I got it. Like you trying to watch from afar and trying to see everything they do. You don't want nobody to know that you looking at what they're doing. But nah. I want the competition right in my pocket. I want to keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. I want the competition right in my pocket. I want to see what you're doing. If you making money, I want to see how you making money. If you ET said when I was the number 5 best motivational speaker in the world, I studied everybody above me. I reached out to everybody who put them on. I know exactly how they got to where they are. And I'm going to do it too. So what do you got to do? So what industry are you in right now? And who do you got to study to understand where you need to go? Because I promise you, if I was just hanging around the folks at work, I wouldn't have figured that out.
Ooh. Yeah.
Look, I'm not trying to be mean, bro. I ain't trying to be mean, bro. I'm trying to tell the truth right now. Like if I was just like for real, like some of y'all got stuff going on, but you ain't trying to hang out with nobody. You doing it in your house. So you in your comfort zone right now, thinking you about to blow up. You still got three full zones that you need to pull yourself through, and you ain't started getting off the couch yet.
Facts. I mean, and it's crazy because like, we do that anyway. Like for almost any and everything. Everybody has that one person that that they go to for something. Like you wouldn't go to your hairstylist for cooking tips, right? So it's like to get on somebody else's level or to just, improve in general instead of accomplishing one thing on your own and just being like, yo, I got this. Like learn from, the greatest chefs, your peers, your loved ones, your mom, your dad, whatever,
Right,
whoever
right.
cooks in your household, to become that great chef. It's all right to, change up your palate every now and then. Like instead of using just plain old salt and pepper, use some obey sauce on the chicken. Use some sauce. Obey on the chicken or like some shake and bake, whatever. You know, and it's like each one teaches one. Like we
However,
say,
you go to a chef and they tell you about shake and bake and something wrong.
well, I mean, you know what I mean. I don't cook that much, so that was bad example. But anyway, we say each one teach one, and then we also say like it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to get a business off the ground. Like if you have multiple people around you that's gonna push you to do the things that you said you want and are going to do, you know, it takes more than just one person. Like we've said before, you have to get off your own planet and
Yeah.
you have to basically network. And when you're networking, you you got to have that conviction. You got to sell yourself. You got to first believe that, you are worth this and that. Your product, your seed that you're sowing is worth the world.
Right,
Without that conviction, you're just basically going through the motions.
right.
Like that's the last key factor. That's, a little bit why, our podcast isn't at the point we need it to be or can be at, is because, we fall short promoting. I admit that. I will admit. Uh but if we put as much energy as we put in on a job in this podcast, we probably be on it, doggone it. I swear.
Share the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. There are some people. There are still people listening. We appreciate you guys.
Hmm.
Um, well, anyway, so
Call to
look,
action.
for real, we'd be remiss to not talk about
Elephant in the
the
room.
real elephant in the room, and that elephant is that you guys who are listening to this, you not you afraid to be around people who are going to put you to shame.
Mm.
So the problem here is not that you not hanging around the people that's going to make you better. The problem is that you are afraid to be around those people. And it's the reasoning behind why you don't want to be around those people. That's the problem. As I know some folks that, they on their own planet,
Mm.
but because they on their own planet, they don't want to be they want to be the ruler of their planet, but they don't want to make their planet bigger. You
Mm.
don't want to expand your planet. You just want your planet to be what it is, and you're afraid to grow. So when you come around somebody who gonna make you grow, you get uncomfortable. Like the time that the guy told me that he was passionate about something, and I told him that I could take him to a group of people who could teach him how to do that, and he was like, "No, I don't. I'm good on that. Like I'll let you do that. Like no, that's not my passion, bro. You said that was yours. Like I don't need that. Like for real. Um, that's deep. Like, I told him that I could take him around people who can literally show him how to do what say he passionate about,
Mm-hmm.
and now all of a sudden I don't want to do it. Like crazy. But some people want to be. You want to be the shit. That is, you want to be the shit, but you don't want to hang around people who gonna spray air freshener on you while you trying to stink. Like for real, like you want to be around people who gonna make you feel good about yourself. You want to be around people who gonna you want to be around people who gonna play who gonna be yes men to your cause. You want to be around people who are who just straight up say they just straight up look at you like, yeah, man, it's perfect, it's good. Like they not going they ain't gonna talk about nothing that you doing. You know, you be a shit person. They just gonna let you do it.
Uh,
They they gonna be your friend regardless or whatever. It is what it is. Like they
uh-huh.
like you don't want no growth. You don't want no self development. You don't want no growth. You don't want nobody to push you in the right direction. You want to stay exactly where you are. So with that being said, you ain't going out to meet nobody. You ain't looking at your competition. You ain't even looked at the world yet. Some of you guys are so sick that you just decide that you're not even gonna look anywhere outside your job. You could be the shit, but you could be the shit between the times of 7 o'clock to 5:30. You could be
Facts.
the shit, but you gonna be the shit because you decided to change the color of your vest.
Ooh.
You gonna be the shit, but you gonna be the shit because you got associates under you that you can control and you can bark orders at any time you feel like it. And you can get them fired at the snap of a finger. That's why you the shit. But you ain't the shit because you got passions and you got dreams, you got goals, but you'll never reach those if you never hang around people that are outside of your reality. Like it is what it is, man. Um, all I know is like there is no way that we constantly be around people who are better than us and who can teach us stuff, and we don't become our goal of being $1 million company don't be realized.
Right.
All that's all I'm saying. It's not possible.
Cause it's like, if you're around those people, if you're around something like that, like something has to rub off. If not, you just oblivious. You like that horse with the blinders on. You just looking straight forward, just going through the motions, doing the 9 to 5, and just not even living. Like you a slave to the system basically. And it you have those people, and if you're one of those people that are just like, you want more for yourself, you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to have something outside of the 9 to 5, or you just want to get rid of the 9 to 5 in general and live your life, there are steps, there are plans, there's this podcast right here you can listen to. The information, the people, the networking, the media source for it, it is out there. All you have to do is go out there, find it, look for it, study it, meet that person, reach out to that person. There's whole communities on Facebook, social media, YouTube. Again, this podcast right here, that it's there.
We
Use it.
also have a Facebook group as well, Rise to Greatness on Facebook.
And if it's not there, make it. Start that community yourself. The sky is literally the limit. Like, let's get it, people. Let's work.
Right. So with that being said, this weekend, man, you ready for that?
Oh yeah.
360 man conference, man. I've been looking forward to it for a while. I honestly I honestly didn't think I was gonna go, but because I went to Mexico, but um just thinking like going to Mexico was the reason why I went. Like I'm just like, yo, it's gonna be something different happening there, and I think I need to be there for it. So like I wanted to be in the building. And I was like, I got to make sure that I get somebody else to go with me. I can't I can't do that alone. Like especially with it being like the 360 man conference, like how to be a man all around, like every pillar of your life, man. Definitely want to be in the building for that. Um, so I ain't gonna say too much more about that, but Marcus and I will be in Atlanta this weekend, and Alex is also going to be there. So it's going to be a family night, and I can't wait for it, man. I ain't looking forward to that
Word.
drive though, but I mean, it is what it is. I wish we could just fly there. I promise you, I thought about it, putting that shit on the card and just being done with it, man. But you know, we ain't made it to that level yet,
Mm.
and that's on us. We gonna have to bite that bullet. But regardless, it is what it is, and we gonna be in the building regardless. So yeah, um, so, like to end it off on a strong note, man.
Mm.
Before we get off of here, I just want to make a few things practical for somebody listening right now, because we I was about like a little bit all over the place with this episode, but I'd be hurt if I don't put some practicality out there, because there's somebody there's somebody listening to this right now who they don't know that they the ones, right? And what I mean by that, you don't know that you the one stuck. And I'm going to help you out right now. If you heard me say earlier that successful people are the only ones with stories. Now, you may have stories,
Mm.
and you and your friends may talk about some things that happen. But just think about it. How far back do you have to reach for those stories? Because I'm gonna be real, I know people that gotta go back real far to find a good, positive, funny stories, anything that happened to them. I know some people that gotta dig real deep in that vault to go back. If you and your friends ain't having conversations about the last week, bruh, and it's something more than just work, something wrong. Something is wrong. Something is really wrong. And for those of you ego tripping so hard that you can't focus on growing your business because you can't look at the most successful people in your industry, you're gonna have to change that, because there's no success. Success don't fade. Success don't fade. It don't change. The principles are the same for every single person. So if there's a person in your industry, and maybe you needed to hear that part, because I guess some of y'all think that because your circumstances are different, you're just a whole different person. You're not human. You don't go through the same stuff that other humans go through. But you are human. You human just like them. So if somebody else is doing it, then obviously it's possible. So you need to go figure out what they're doing. And if you needed to hear that part, if you needed to hear that it is okay to look at someone else's success, it is okay to look at someone else's failures and see how they did it, because you heard me say before that the person who I'm looking at, and like the people who are in the same industry as me, I'm going back, I'm reading their bio, I'm on Wikipedia reading up how they started, how many books it took them to get to where they are now, what was their process, who did they go through, what publisher did they go through. That's my process. I'm looking at the greats. I'm looking at how the greats got to where they are. I had a conversation with Terry Brooks, man, Ravencon, like, yo, for real, like, I'm just looking at all of these people. And if you don't know who Terry Brooks is, he was the author of the Shannara Chronicles. I don't know if Mark, I don't know if you ever heard of the Shannara Chronicles. It was a show, that sci-fi show, came on MTV back in the day. Regardless, but I'm going back. I'm digging into their vault. What did they do to succeed? Who did they hang around? What type of people did they hang around? If it's going to be some people that you can keep in your circle that has the same goals as you, had the same mindset as you, and push you forward, you don't need to be around anybody who is going to grant you access to being mediocre. You don't need to be around anybody that's going to give you access to like the satisfaction of just saying yes, that's okay, or that's great, but they don't challenge you. If you don't feel stretched, then guess what? You're not stretched.
Mm.
That uncomfortable feeling that you run away from whenever it's time to be around somebody who shines a light on you, that discomfort that you're running away from, you might want to lean into that.
Mm-hmm.
You might want to lean into that. So what am I telling you to do? I'm not telling you to straight disown people. Like, that's not what I'm telling you to do. But I'm telling you that at some point you will have to be around somebody that's going to make you look bad and make you think long and hard about what you're doing. That's what you're going to need to do.
Mm-hmm. Like definitely have those friends that's gonna push and motivate you to move forward. Uh, and then you'll remember, like, once you start down this path, like it's literally no turning back. Like turning back is just like it hurts. Like once you know that you can succeed at something or just like be successful in the things we talk about, it's hard turning back. Like days where we sit at home and like for some reason we've done absolutely nothing. It's just it feels so daunting that like yo, I wasted a day that I could have been so productive in.
Thanks.
Like sometimes it's hard to even fall asleep. But like yo, I could be upstairs working right now. I could be somewhere
Thanks.
working. Like but I need to rest. I need to rest. But I also could be doing this and that. It just you know don't be afraid of that. Like you said, lean into that. Internalize that. You're hungry. You're hungry to be successful. uh the flame is burning, and this episode has been a prime example of shying away from the elephant. The saying is, those who shy away from the elephant are doomed to be crushed by the weight of it. That weight is that regret, that feeling of you not doing what you need to do, that you can do.
Yep.
uh so that has been this episode. uh what
Yep. So before we head out, I would
mhm.
be an idiot to not talk about it. But just recently got our hands on it. But it's out, and I don't think I talked about it on the podcast for real, man. And I feel real crazy about it. But as of last week, we just published a new book.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm gonna put it out there that Aryan Fallout,
Hey.
the third book in the eighth third line,
Mhm.
is now out and ready for purchase on Amazon and on our website ajmcmullen.com. So it is the third book in the series, and I would love to talk about it, but unfortunately, I don't have time to go into the whole spiel here, and
Mhm.
I won't go into the whole spiel on the podcast. So that's not what this platform is for. But if you want to buy the book Aryan Fallout, as well as jump into the series, the ebooks are a little cheaper if you want to go that route. But uh, the books, the Gem State Siege, Guardian of the Pacific, and Aryan Fallout, books 1, 2, and 3 of the Arcane Calamity series are all available on Amazon, ebook and paperback, as well as the website, ajmcmullen.com. So yeah, get over there as soon as possible and get those. Um, Also, we do have a private Facebook group for those of you who want to be a part of it, and we can have conversation about things like this and keep this stuff going. I would love to get more opinions and get off of our own planet with this podcast. And since Mark put us on the spot and kind of made us look like trash. And for
What?
anybody who is possibly listening, I would want to turn it off at that point, but that's just me. But anyway,
Whatever.
we do have a private Facebook group, Rise to Greatness. We should probably incorporate that link into the
Description.
show notes.
I'll show
But
notes.
yeah, we have the private Facebook group, and we would love to talk to you guys about like things like this and have private conversations and bring them to the podcast if need be, as well as get topics from people just like you and I, who are struggling to make a name for themselves. So yeah, I think that's all we have. Anything else, man?
No, that's all we have. In the upcoming months, look out for every Monday there will be a new video released. Monday will be Melodies of Monday, or Monday Melodies. Still need to work on the title for that. It'll be me streaming a rhythm-based game. For right now, it's going to be I think the game is called Sequence Storm. Tuesdays will be Trigger Happy Tuesdays, and there should be a theme for every day coming up. Still working on titles, but look out for that in the upcoming months.
Dope, dope, dope. You gonna link up with Dana for that?
Maybe.
Yeah, it's all good. I think he owns something else now. So,
Lord.
oh man. But ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Dirty Trump Podcast. My name is Aaron Mack. That is Marcus Morton.
Hey.
The elephant has come. The elephant has gone.
Bye, Henry.
You gonna hit us with it?
Well, I did it
Alright.
before, but
No,
anyway.
It's so relevant we had to do it twice.
All
It's
right.
so relevant we had to do it twice. So I once again, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Dirty Trump Podcast. The elephant has come and gone. My name is Aaron Mack. That is Marcus Morton, and
Always remember, those who shy away from addressing the elephant in the room are doomed to be crushed by the weight of it. We love y'all. We hope.
peace. Love y'all. See y'all next week.